So to follow up on the video I did on packing my resupply boxes a few days ago, a lot of people say that they can't eat, they don't have an appetite when they start a through hike, they lose weight. I think that's pretty common, especially if you're new at it. You're going to have lots of trial and error food-wise. I still struggle with it. I'm changing all the time. But when I started the Continental Divide, I lost 20 pounds getting across New Mexico. I didn't feel like eating. I was doing 25-mile days. It was hot. I just couldn't explain it. You know, when I got to Chama, New Mexico, I met my wife and daughter at a RV park. And after I left, the couple next door, they were telling them what I was doing, and they said, "Oh, we're so glad to hear that. We thought he had cancer." So, yeah, I was tightening my belt going up the Continental Divide, but you know, after that it leveled off. I didn't continue to lose weight, but I really never dialed my food in that whole trip, and so I knew it needed some work. So before I did my next through hike, I really worked on food. And I found that I really needed to find things that I craved, because if I didn't crave it, I wouldn't eat it. And I found that I would get tired of things after a while, especially junk food, you know. You can get real tired of that real quick, and it's not really doing you that much good. That said, I've walked with a lot of successful through hikers that lived on Cheetos. You know, so it's whatever works for you. I think in their case, it was a budget item. You know, they bought as they went, and in a lot of these little resupply towns, you don't find much. It's slim pickings, and so you end up buying a lot of junk food. And for them, I think building resupply boxes for a whole summer ahead of time, you know, it's expensive, but you know, you're just moving that expense forward instead of backwards. So it's going to be more expensive when you get out there buying stuff you don't want than it is buying stuff you do want. And you know, if you've got the budget to do that ahead of time, that would be my suggestion. But you know, you think of food as fuel, and you know, what octane are you going to pack? And then food management, water management, I've said that's important. So if I'm going out for 7 days, I'm only carrying 5 days worth of food. I'm eating like a pig at the beginning, and I'm eating like a pig at the end when I come into a resupply point, and I make up some calorie deficit there. But you know, I only carry a pound and a half at the most per day. And again, it's changing all the time. I had it pretty well dialed in, then I went to just cooking or eating cold. I don't call it cold soaking, but that's basically what you're doing, I guess. But I use a lot of wraps and tortillas, and I don't carry a stove. So when I tried that, I had to start from square one and figure out what I was going to like, what was going to be the most calorie dense things that I craved, and then pack those things. And it's different for everybody. You know, you might be vegan. You know, I'm meat and potatoes. You know, you got to find out what works for you and then dial it in. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but if you can do that before you start a through hike, you'll be so much happier. So if you're contemplating a through hike and you have the time and the money to do your trail trial and trail error ahead of time, it'll pay off in big dividends when you get to the trail food-wise and everything else you want to test. Keep smiling.